but NASCAR and Netflix came out with a documentary 2 days ago on its NASCAR Full Speed. It goes into the playoffs with several NASCAR Cup drivers during the 2023 playoffs last year. 5 episodes in total. Run time's about 3.5 to 4 hours. I think it's about 4 hours. And it covers a lot of shit that you don't see every week. A lot of drivers' personal lives, especially with Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Ross Chastain, William Byron, Joey Logano, who else? Christopher Bell a little bit towards the end. So, Riley, I know you haven't watched all of it yet. I have. So I got the full story and the full picture of all the five episodes. And I'm just gonna say this, man. It was awesome. I really enjoyed it. It's what I've been wanting NASCAR and for somebody to do for a while now. You know, NASCAR has been a dying sport. Not a dying sport, but it's leveled off since 2017. It dropped down big in 2018, and then it's kind of stayed the same since 2019. You know, after Dale retired in 2017. So, and like I said, you had Tony retire in 16, Jeff retire in 15, Jimmy retire in 18. So you had a lot of big name drivers that people cared about retire all in the same 4 or 5 years. So, and this is what NASCAR needs to do continually to get more intrigue on their sport. And I thought they did a great job in getting the drivers' personalities out, especially Denny Hamlin's. He was the star of the show, and I'm not ashamed of saying
Dennis Hamlin?
That. Yeah, Dennis Hamlin. Shout out to his father. He'll smoke that cigar maybe one day. Probably not, but he might.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know you don't. You haven't watched it all
I'm
yet.
guessing he's got a cigar that he's going to smoke when he wins a championship.
Yeah, that Michael Jordan gave him. But anyways, I thought it was great. Denny Hamlin, you know, I don't like Denny Hamlin at all.
Because you're soft.
But he was awesome. He and 2311 Racing gave the most access to any other team, as far as I could tell, in the documentary. And you got to see team meetings with Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, that you didn't see with any other person, or any other team. So I really appreciate that. Booty stole the show sometimes, man. He was a dickhead.
He's the next Gunter Steiner.
I mean, I loved it, man. He was like, you know, get that. He didn't say this verbatim, but he pretty much said after they lost at Texas, like he was fucking pissed when Bubba, you know, blocked William and they didn't win the race. He was pissed. He's like, get this. I'm done. You know, yeah, whatever. Get this microphone. Take this microphone from me. Like, he was pissed. And I love to see it, man. That's raw emotion. That's what we rarely see these days in NASCAR because everything's so corporate now. You gotta, you know, abide by your sponsors, abide by your owner, abide to somebody that you can't really show who you really are. And I think that's where Denny kind of got away with it. Is, you know, he's an owner himself. He got to show a lot of the ownership side of Denny Hamlin that you don't see a lot. So, and Denny did a great job. You know, got to see his personal life with his kids. His shoulder, how bad his shoulder was hurt. It was, I mean, you see some of them shots, him getting out of the car and him doing some therapy with it. Like, he was in real pain last year. And I'm, you know, like I said, I don't like Denny Hamlin at all, but man, he's a tough son of a bitch. And, you know, he drove on a torn ACL in 2010, I believe.
Won some races. It's broken.
I mean, drove with a half-broken back in 2013. Like, that man has been through some shit. That was Joey, but
Kyle won the race.
Yeah,
that's right. Thanks, Joey.
Yeah, but yeah, I really enjoyed Denny Hamlin, man. He's built for this type of stuff, and I'm glad they included him in it. I think Ryan Blaney did a great job as well. He was the redneck, you know, he's from the North, or the Midwest. Sorry, not the North, the Midwest. And he was like the type of redneck type of guy that the rednecks down here would associate with.
Country bus,
you know, horseback riding, going on the farm, taking care of some shit, drinking beers after a race. Just that quirky type of humor that us rednecks appreciate that we've missed for a while. You know, we have too many rednecks in the sport anymore. But I think Ryan Blaney is very close to it. And, you know, he's funny. He's a funny dude, man. And I think we got to experience that for maybe somebody that didn't quite know Blaney too well. You got to see that in that documentary. And then obviously Ross Chastain was another one. Didn't get a whole lot of screen time. I thought he was great, though. You know, he's got to see he's kind of a redneck, too. You know, he owned a damn tractor taking care of them watermelon farms down there in Florida. And, you know, got to see his personality and, you know, how he just doesn't give a shit about what anybody thinks of, you know, how he races or whatever. He's going to race how he races. And he's kind of got that, you know, if I don't win, I could get replaced tomorrow type of mentality. And that's what you need in the Cup Series these days. And the guy that probably was the most dry was Christopher Bell. And I know they included him late because they weren't planning to put him in the documentary. But he was just really dry. Just kind of said some corny shit like you know, I know I'm underrated. People don't give me credit. You know, people think I'm, you know, not that good, and you know, I love proving people wrong. And it's just kind of the same stick the whole couple episodes he was in. He was kind of dry, but that's Christopher Bell for you. I really don't think he's that entertaining of a person to begin with. But William Byron, I'll give him credit. He wasn't the greatest person, but he had a lot of screen time. But I'll give William credit. He made an attempt to be as
building his fucking Legos.
You ain't watched it yet, dumbass. You just took it off Eric's video, probably.
No, I saw it's at the fucking. It's the trailer. It shows him.
Oh, is it?
Or at least the intro to episode 1. He's building.
Anyways, William did a good a job as he probably could of trying to convey his to get out of his comfort zone, because William Byron, you
girlfriend's a smoke.
Hendrick Motorsports is kind of a corporate, you know, tie up, you know, we're going to do things the right way type of
kind of like a homosexual type deal if you look at Jeff Gordon.
Christ. And he did a great job of trying to step out of that and give us some of the real William Byron. Like I said, he's not a huge people person. He's not a huge personality, but he did his damnedest to try to be that. And I'll give him credit for that. But I thought it was a great show. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. I like to see just a little bit more of the
Fords.
No, they showed Joey too. Joey was pretty good. He was okay until he got eliminated. And then they said,
no Brad though.
No Brad, no Chris. But
Chris was fucking best driver all year, and they didn't even talk to him.
Yeah, okay. But no, I thought it was a great documentary. This is what NASCAR needs. I hope they re-up for this year and do it at some point this year, whether it's in the playoffs, whether it's in the summer. Maybe the beginning of the year. They would already announce if they would have done it at the beginning of the year. But I just hope they continue to do this because this was huge for NASCAR. I know you talked about it earlier today. The ratings that Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb was giving it was very high. This is pretty much F1's Drive to Survive. And you know how much that grew F1. And I think this is huge for NASCAR. You need to keep on doing it. Promote it as much as you can because I think it's a great show.
It's got to be everybody that is a NASCAR fan is going to like it. I mean, you can tell.
I'll give you that. But I will say this real quick before you go on yours. You know, I knew what happened last year in the playoffs. You know, I knew because, like I said, it covered the regular season finale at Daytona all the way.
Go Chris Buescher.
To Daytona, to Phoenix.
Watch it right here in his garage.
Yeah, we did. And I knew what happened, but I was still intrigued like a motherfucker. Like I didn't know what was going to happen when I did. You know, also Denny Hamlin is the main character I think in this whole thing, but it's good because he showed you who he really was. Ryan Blaney showed you who he really was. Ross Chastain, when we had him on screen, showed us who he really was. So that was nice to see because, like I said, I've said this for years. We said this for years. We need more personalities in the sport. We need drivers to step out of their comfort zone and be more humanized, not be so corporate. So I got to say the right thing. So, you know, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say that. Just say what you want to say, man. And I know NASCAR's kind of shut it down from the Denny Hamlin situation last year at Phoenix, but you know, I appreciate the show, and it had me intrigued, even though I knew what was going to happen, you know, because I watched last year's playoffs, but I thought they did a great show. and a great job in the show. And, I just wish it a little bit more of team meetings, a little bit more personal life with some certain other drivers. And I think it would have been a 10 out of 10. I give it a 9 out of 10. It was still a great show.
Yeah, I mean, I've only watched the first episode so far. But, just based on the first episode, I mean, it's the best thing NASCAR's ever done to grow the sport, in my opinion. They put you in a position as a viewer to care about these people. And that's what NASCAR needs. You need to care about the drivers on the track because most people aren't like me. Most people don't care about the team. Most people have a driver that they care about. And, they'll follow Dale Jr. wherever Dale Jr. drives. As Dale Jr. goes and drives the fucking, 51 Rick Ware car, they're going to follow that car. I'm not that way, but I'm the outlier. I'm a Roush guy, but I'm the outlier. So showing, a couple guys on screen and building their personalities and building their fan base is what NASCAR needs to do to build the sport. Because if you don't care about the drivers, you don't care about the sport. If you don't care about who's out there doing it, nobody's going to watch.
It's a perfect example with the NBA, with us. You're a Denver Nuggets fan. I've never really been a team guy. I was a Kobe fan forever. When he retired, I kind of lost interest in the NBA. And nowadays, I don't give a shit about the NBA anymore. I really don't because there's no players that jump out to me. And now, the NBA's got a little bit more personalities than NASCAR, I'd say. It's close, but I don't care. None of the guys appease to me to where I want to say, hey, I want to follow that guy. Probably the closest person is Jimmy Butler or Damian Lillard, and even they're not Kobe. They'll never be Kobe.
And they don't win. But
this is true.
But yeah, so as far as this goes for NASCAR, I mean, the biggest thing for NASCAR is to make sure that you get this out to the people that it needs to get out to. Because, like I said,
promote the hell out of this.
NASCAR fans are gonna like it. Duh. It's NASCAR content. It's behind the scenes.
Are you okay?
Just heartburn's killing me right now.
You know what that's called?
Heartburn.
Being a little bitch.
It is. But it's gonna be very, very interesting if you like racing. Even if you're not a NASCAR fan per se, if you're an F1 fan or you're a drag racing fan.
If you're not even a sports fan, I think the editing in this is awesome.
Sure.
The storyline built behind it.
I can't speak to that because I haven't
watched it. That's why I'm telling you. I think the storyline makes people that don't give a shit about NASCAR care about it.
But even if I hadn't watched anything, just based on what it is, you have to get people that are not interested in your sport watching it. Because if it's done right, and based on the one episode that I've watched, it was done right, it will get people interested in the sport. You just have to get it to them. You have to get them watching it. And I feel like NASCAR is that way. If NASCAR can get people to the track, you'll have NASCAR fans. It's just getting them there. So I think this is step one of getting them to the track is putting a documentary out there, putting it on Netflix, which everybody has Netflix. Everybody has access to Netflix. So they're going to watch it if they're interested. And, if they see it and, it pops up on their recommended or the top 10 watch this month or whatever, the hell pops up on Netflix, they're going to watch it. And based on the first episode, I don't know how you cannot care, when you get to Daytona and you're seeing the cars go around the track and they show the 54 wreck and then, you see some more racing and then you see fucking Ryan Preece just flipping and everybody's like, oh shit. If you're not a NASCAR fan, you probably think the guy in that car is dead.
Dead, yeah.
And he jumps out of the car like nothing happened. I mean, he's rubbing his eyes because his fucking brain's rattled and, his blood vessels have burst in his eyes, but he's fine. And, you got Marty Smith saying, these guys are badasses. You go out here and you can
Marty Smith is big in being in this because everybody, college football most college football fans, not most, but a lot of college football fans used
Marty
to
and
love
Ryan
NASCAR.
McGee.
Used to love NASCAR, or still like NASCAR. Marty Smith is that good bridge to college football and NASCAR fans, and for him to be in the documentary talking about this is huge.
Yeah. So you got him talking about it like these guys strap themselves in these cars. They strap.
He straps them cars down.
They do. He straps himself into these cars, and they can go out there and die. You hadn't seen it since 2001. You hadn't seen a death in NASCAR since 2001.
I had it in 2020.
About had it with Newman. I mean, I texted you that night. I know we said it 100 times on this podcast, but I texted you that night and said Ryan Newman just died.
I don't know about 100 times, maybe like 6.
Well, probably not 100 times because we
Do you
even
get
had
the correlation there?
Yeah. We ain't even got to 100 episodes on this podcast yet. But
you say it 3 times an episode.
yeah, it's NASCAR is a dangerous sport, and people like to watch danger. That's why we watch football.
MMA.
Yeah, watch MMA, watch boxing, and you watch motorsports for the danger. It's
And the speed.
It's 43 cars ripping around a track at 200 mile an hour, and if you wreck, there's consequences.
And that's what drives me crazy about. I get the safety aspect, and we want these guys. We don't want these guys to get hurt, but a lot of the pizzazz with NASCAR over the years was the speed, how it looked. It looked stupid fast. It looked like you were going light years fast. And with them slowing the cars down and taking the horsepower away, you don't have that anymore. Now, to be fair, if you're a new NASCAR fan, you still think 170, 180 miles an hour, man, that's fucking fast. But, back in 2006 at fucking Charlotte, when you're going 199 into turn 1 for a qualifying lap, and you could tell how fucking unstable that car was. Like one miscue and you are pounding that wall. That intrigues a lot of fans that really that can't say, oh, they're just redneck driving around in circles. No, you can tell. And nowadays, you don't get that sense of urgency because the cars are slower, the cars are more boxier, the cars are more stable to drive. So I think, with NASCAR, with this documentary, it helps it because, the fans that left after Dale died or after they changed the cars, because they got slower or they got uglier or whatever it was, this documentary can help bring those fans back or maybe get some new fans to care about drivers instead of, back in the day, you could just watch a race and see the car sliding all around at Atlanta back in 2002, seeing them all over the place that you don't get today because of how the car is and how the tracks are.
Yeah, but
I think I did good right there. I think I killed that shit.
Did you?
You weren't paying any attention to me.
No, I did.
Did you?
I heard you.
I thought I did good.
You did all right.
I don't usually praise myself, but I thought that was a good little take by me. Anyways, go ahead.
Sure?
Maybe.
I think it was average.
Maybe I'm just drunk. I don't know.
I sort of drunk ain't God. But this NASCAR documentary is worth a watch. If for whatever reason, which would be fucking really surprising, if you listen to this podcast and haven't watched it, go watch it because it's worth a watch. Just based on the first episode that I've watched, you finished it. I'm sure you would say the same.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, I would have liked a little bit of Blaney after he won the championship last year. Spoiler alert, if you don't know. You've been living under a rock. But I would like to see just a little bit more of Blaney's post-race championship content. I feel like we kind of got snubbed a little bit from that. And I know it's 5 episodes. I don't think five episodes wasn't enough. I think it should have been 7 or 8. But I get it. You only get a certain amount of time, certain amount of minutes you can get on the series. I get it. But would like to see a little bit more of Blaney. And like I said, I would like to see a little bit more team meetings. And I don't know. I don't like Toyota, but man, 2311 killed it as far as content and access to what they allowed. I think 2311 did the best job of allowing us to see what goes on a day in and day out basis. Especially with their new shop, and all that, Denny going in there looking at construction site, and hey, I could be talking on my ass here, but can we get this? Can we get this to move over here to have it equal the? Have you seen that? Was that in episode 1? Okay, that was episode 2 then. Can we get this to be over here, or am I just talking on my ass here? Like, you get to see Denny Hamlin just be who he is. Like, he's going to ask questions. He's going to try to figure out, hey, can this be better? Can this be better? Or am I just being stupid here? So, and I appreciate that from Denny Hamlin. I think Denny Hamlin as a person is an awesome guy. He comes out cocky, he comes out as arrogant. And there's some things that, at the end of the documentary, he's kind of say, like, we're fucking cursed. We're the, what's that, the baseball term of that? The beam.
The curse of the Bambino?
Yeah, he called himself that pretty much. And, I wasn't a huge fan of that, but.
How are you a Red Sox fan and you not know what that is?
I forget, bro. Baseball, I'm not thinking about baseball right now. But, I'm not a Red Sox fan. I was a Big Papi and Manny Ramirez fan.
This is my fucking city.
Anyways, I thought Denny did a great job. He stole the show. If you ain't watched it, you need to watch it on Netflix. NASCAR, Full Speed. It's amazing. I think if you're a NASCAR fan, you're going to love it, even though if you're not a Denny Hamlin fan. Or even if you're like a Chase Elliott fan, you don't care about anybody but Chase Elliott. He's not in it. But I think you'll care about enough that enough about the drivers throughout it to really appreciate what they did. And like I said, I rated 9 out of 10. It's a great show, and I hope they do it again this year.